the first to know in Nsem-Pii TV.
For another, the Medina District Court discharged the lead suspect in the murder case of investigative journalist Ahmed Suale. Daniel Owusu-Cranton discharged Emmanuel Ekoi under the order from the Attorney General Dr. Dominic Ayine. Na chese ene Kwesi Botwe Jr. Esquire aid to Dr. Alhaj Mahmoud Bawumia. Akoko one of the TV stations no din send to just say the Attorney General's repeated Nolle prosecuted filings eroding trust in judiciary. Kwesi Botwe Jr. Esquire and a cancel because kaya Ahmed Suale somewhere 2019 January and then pabonifobi ekokogye ni nkwa edifiri nsem na ya sha se yebetimi aye investigations ama pepepeye etumi ato na how come say under Dominic Ayine as Attorney General obaya say my order Medina court and say on this continuing case you are no more interested in continuing the case said ebeya ebihu ni pabonifo a etale sa Ahmed Suale woyechi na yetumi de pepepeye atodwa eno and I just say Kwesi Botwe Jr. Esquire aid to Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia kasa ansem we describe the repeated filing of Nolle prosecutor no say unnecessary. In fact, ene wa kansem amye who say the Attorney General Dominic Ayine say ye judicial system no o ma pepepe ye ento na akwemu wo ayenim se wo na we aban lawyer panyini a wo behwe ama pepepe yo aba beto baby a wo say ye de to wo mum na say wo baya nipa boni for mo hyese ewu na chi no wo me discharge wo mo kwa eno ene empany tina ase no na chese Kwesi Botwe Jr. Esquire nsem etudwa kire Dominic Ayine say in fact enye Attorney General dwumadi na oye no yenye bre ni tie nsem a lawyer edito edwa ene.
I think that one thing that we all have to do together is to safeguard and protect our judiciary. We have to be able to maintain the confidence Ghanaians have in our judicial system and our criminal jurisprudence. We shouldn't, and we should be very careful of not creating a situation that usually when matters, regarding or high-profile matters go to court, the next thing is for the AG to file a Nolle prosecutor. It's becoming like a constant.
I think that's a trend.
Exactly, yeah. It looks like it's becoming a trend now that anytime there is a change in government, the government of the day would want to, file Nolle prosecutors, especially within the first year of the administration of the government. I think that we should be very careful not to continue on this trend. Because when I was coming, I was listening to Engineer. Engineer made a very profound statement that the very day Ghanaians lose the confidence they have in our criminal jurisprudence or our judiciary, that is where mob actions will start. That is where people would feel that they can no longer count on the court system for justice, and so they would want to administer justice themselves. And so we have to be very mindful of this trend, because we all know what happened to Ahmed Suale. This country, was in the news, international news, for bad reasons. Ahmed Suale is an internationally recognized journalist. He's somebody who, used to work with Tiger IPI, and we all know the work Tiger IPI does. Yeah. And so the death of Ahmed Suale is still a stain on, the reputation of this republic. True. And so if this news should travel to the international media that the government or the AG has filed a Nolle prosecutor because the AG feels the investigations were incomplete and was, shortly handled, I think that is a big stain on our reputation as a country.
I see, it's not an end to the case itself.
Yes,
it's an end to the case involving the Daniel Cranton, the suspect.
Yes.
But even so, he's only been discharged and not acquitted.
Yes, but if you look at the reasons for the discharge, they are very serious reasons. For a case to travel for 6 years and for suddenly for us to be told that the investigations were not properly done, because these are fundamental issues that every prosecutor should assess before proceeding to court. Because if you look at the criminal threshold, it's a higher burden of proving the guilt of the accused person beyond reasonable doubt. And so if you're a prosecutor and even the sketch does not look like the person you are prosecuting, that should be the first red flag for you. That this sketch I have and the person I'm seeing, you know, the pictures does not match the person. And so you shouldn't have even initiated charges against the person in the first place. You see, all these, you know, checklists should have been met. But we travel the case down the line, spend money. I think it's a waste of judicial resources, because prosecutors would have to go to court, file documents, disclosures, go through the process for 6 years. And today we are told the investigators didn't do their job properly. I think that for the first time, the investigators, you know, have to be, you know, sanctioned. It has to be a sanction for the investigator. It cannot be business as usual to serve as a deterrent to other investigators who also cook up evidence, quote and unquote, to the prosecutors. Because the prosecutor doesn't engage in investigation. All the prosecutor does is to assess the evidence that has been adduced by the investigators and then know the necessary charges to profess against the accused persons. Because, again, to stand on engineer's point, engineer made a point that, you know, because the state is perceived to have the resources to undertake criminal prosecutions, usually the law is in such a way that it protects the accused person more. Because if you look at the rights that the accused person, you know, he has a lot of, accused persons have a lot of rights under our criminal jurisprudence. And so to secure the conviction, it is very easy to initiate prosecutions against people, but it is very difficult to meet the burden of proof and to secure conviction against the accused persons. And so I think that sometimes we should tread, you know, cautiously. It shouldn't be the case that anytime the public asks for prosecutions, then the state must rush to, you know, initiate prosecutions.
There should
and
be
later
thorough investigations.
There should be thorough investigations. It shouldn't be a half-baked, you know, job. So I think that the AG must come clear to, you know, give the good people of this country some assurance, to let the good people of this country know that it's not going to be business as usual, and that some sanctions are going to be taken against the investigators for misleading the prosecutor. Because I am not sure that a prosecutor, knowing very well right from the onset that the pictures he has does not match the accused person and that the investigations were incomplete.
We're told of a sketch, but quickly let me find out from counsel. We don't know if it's a sketch of the suspect or a sketch of a scenario, a possible scenario.
You see, normally what they do is that they go to the crime scene and then reconstruct, do a sketch as like a simulation.
Right.
And see of what is their suspicion, what was done. There, sometimes, if they can find some fingerprints, so they take you. Right. But the action had happened long time.
Exactly.
Then now they come and ask you, the suspect, so what was this? What happened here? That's what they do. But I just wanted to raise a small point in, you see, for every charge to be preferred and before a prosecutor goes to court, it is the top hierarchy that looks at the charge. They look at the evidence. Right? The prosecutor is a junior ranking. They may have a team. But it's a junior. You've been given instruction. They themselves have seen that this thing is going to be difficult. But your superior is saying that you go to court with it. You go to court with it just to satisfy the masses that we are in court with this. If the person is acquitted, at the end of the day, we say it is the court who acquitted the person.
So you absolve yourself.
That is the problem that the people at the top knows. The investigators may do and tell you the truth, but you look at it, and because of the pressure coming from society, are you getting it? Then they say we'll go to court. Sometimes I always say, listen, when society may look at some document and say, oh, this is evidence, with this evidence, we finish the matter. Everything, he has to be in jail within the next 3 months. But with the legal eye, when you look at that evidence, you realize that, no, this is not the kind of evidence that will convict. So that is the issue that we have.
Yeah.
Because
And so I think that, in fact, I think the sketch you asked about is the sketch of the accused person because
the suspect.
The suspect, sorry, because you remember when the incident happened, the police called on the people within the enclave to draw. We saw some pictures on social media, if you recall. People were trying to actually link it to other people. That hey, this picture looks like somebody I know and all that. So I think it's the sketch of the suspect. Accused, and so all what I'm saying is that before we prefer charges against persons who we perceive have committed, crimes against the republic, let's take our time. Let's go through a thorough process. Let's not be in the rush to, play to the gallery or to satisfy the pleasure of the citizens. Let's take our time. Because let's also have at the back of our minds that this is the right of a person we are joking with. A lot of people, I think, are in jail for wrong reasons.
True.
Yeah, I think that, like counsel mentioned, people, get issues and they tell you if I go for a lawyer, the lawyer will charge money and so I'll not go for a lawyer. And at the end of the day, the prosecution will find their way out and you are convicted. A lot of people are in jail, a lot of innocent people are in jail. And so I think that the prosecution, they have a duty to the state, they have the duty to the citizens to do the right thing. Not to cook evidence against somebody, not to manufacture evidence. But counsel said something that I would want to rebut. He mentioned that in the Japa case, the system tried to, connive with the accused person to secure conviction on the last sort. I had
like Attorney General.
The Attorney General. Yeah. But this very Japa issue, the video or the audio was played in court a couple of times, and the court didn't find any merit in the audio to punish the agent.
It's currently being looked into. There's a petition
and so for counsel to make such a categorical statement, I think it's unfair to the former AG. Counsel is also in the profession. We are all in the profession, and so it's unfair to the former AG.
I don't think I was judgmental. I don't think I was judgmental.
Anyway, that's fine. But
I just said that I was connecting some dots
just
to show that sometimes this is what
happens.
Okay, but in this scenario, we don't know for a fact that happened. No. System or the AG was trying to.
If you think that in my estimation that I've been judgmental, I think I'm sorry. I will never be judgmental. My practice is not.
The show is very.
Let me first of all educate the public reasons why the Attorney General has that power of Nolle Prosequi or to discharge people. Then we can come to the Ahmed Suale because Ahmed Suale's killing is an indictment and a blot on the conscience of the country, Ghana. Because this is a crime that shook the foundation of this nation. This was a member of parliament, and very high-ranking people have given snippets of information as to their knowledge as to what had happened. And it tells you...
No, Ahmed Suale was a journalist.
He was a journalist. And then...
MP.
Yes. No, the man who was killed was an MP.
No, sorry.
No,
that's JB Danka.
Ahmed Suale.
That's JB Danka.
That's now with Ahmed Suale, right? And it was unfortunate that in this very particular situation, Kennedy Ajapong gave a clue that he had knowledge about what had happened. Did the police interview him? Did they take any clue? You see, when the Attorney General is to file Nolle Prosequi, there are reasons why he would do that.
True.
When a crime happens, they want to find out what was the modus operandi. What did they do? I always say crime is not necessarily to be punished. The overriding objective for sending somebody in a criminal matter is for the person to be punished for the offense committed against the state. But it's not all that the agencies or the Attorney General will want to punish such a person. They will also want to use that person to teach them, to find the loopholes. What was the modus operandi that they used so that in the subsequent criminal enterprises that people want to do, they block those loopholes.
Okay.
Especially when it comes to this like financial crime in the bank, what are the things they do? So you hear that maybe Attorney General, after they have taken the person, will file a Nolle Prosequi and says that. A Nolle Prosequi just means that I'm no more interested as the state, I'm no more interested in the matter. Now, reasons why it will also be done, as he said, is that the evidence that has been brought cannot convict.
Indeed.
You cannot convict with such an evidence. That means that you go to court and you will be doing a shabby job. That will bring your competence into question.
Yeah.
Right? So to sometimes avoid that once you go, you just lose your case. And everybody thinks that you don't have competence, you don't have knowledge, and you don't have grips over what you are doing. 2, when this is also done, as I said, we have to also look at maybe gathering of the evidence, the processes by which it was done. So now you want to go back, I'll come to the sketch, you want to go back and see what was the pieces of evidence that was glossed over. So that becomes part of issues that the next time you are training your investigators and others, you would have to make sure you do. I commend the Attorney General in the sense that sometimes when issue comes and it is an issue that will polarize, or we have political undertones, when we find political elements within the matter and we polarize the matter, there is some pressure on the investigators to be able to trump charges. When they know very well, maybe they have told their superiors that this is what we are finding. But their superiors are like, there's pressure on us. So far as there's pressure on us, let's push it through. Let's push it through. So most of the cases, I can tell you, the investigators, they know, especially the subordinates, they know the truth. But when they tell their superiors, for them to look good within the books of the authorities, they go and present a different version. It takes courage in this matter to come and say that, looking at the evidence, I don't think we can convict. What we can do is, let's discharge, go back and do some investigation and look at what has been glossed over. Once the man has been discharged, we are not being told that he's been acquitted because they haven't gone into the matter. It means that if they find evidence in this matter which links him, he can be brought back to.
There are 2 suspects on the run.
Yes.
And he was accused of abetting them.
Abetting them.
Right.
So if they get the facts which the nexus connects him, they can always bring him back. And for me, some of the investigations, it's armchair investigations that is done. They put pressure on the person, just say this. And you know, sometimes they tell the suspect and the accused will just admit that I have done this, I will speak to the judge, or the system will speak to the judge and the judge. And most of the suspects, when they go and they admit, you know, they think that it will because a promise, and they go and they say, oh yes, we are guilty, or they go through the process expecting that maybe some deal has been cut between them and he'll be given some minimal. It never happens. And you know, I don't see how an investigator and the people will be able to go and see a judge and so can we do it ABCD. For me, it tells you that the system by way we go, investigation, we must improve on it. And some, they come and, you know, you will see that it's a lie. But because sometimes they are coming from the state, the judge sitting down, when the judge is not so strong, you know, an activist who will say no, until I see snippets of this evidence, I will not convict the person. I'll be bold. Because the system is that now promotion and everything to the top or be elevated
Yeah.
It's also been linked to politics.
True.
Politics, who is your godfather.
Yeah.
Right? So to even take decisions sometimes, you will see, I see some judgments, you just see they are dancing around the issue, skirting around the issue.
Right.
Then they bring some conclusion. You see, this matter reminds me of the treason case. The treason case.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I tell you that, look, what happened in that case, the evidence, right? And the hostile manner in which that case was done. Look, you just point the things out. Somebody, the key person who says that they did the drawing with the people, and they instructed him, and he wrote the names. Parliament, the sketch. You ask him in court, okay, you said you did it, you wrote the name. Okay, take a paper.
Rewrite.
Spell parliament. He can't even spell. He can't even spell. Spell Obechebi Lamte. Second. Spell police headquarters.
The same person who claims to have done that thing is unable to reproduce him.